I enjoy doing things with my family as I grew up. We traveled to many different places, and that's something that I really loved. We got to see a lot of beautiful places in the different states that we traveled to, and I realized that people were really different and strange, but were friendly. We traveled up to Massachusetts, Maine, Virginia, Pennsylvania, all the New England states up there. I also traveled to Ohio and then West Virginia as well. I remember one time I was little, probably about 7 or 6 years old. Me and my mom and my dad, and then my brother and my sister and my younger brother. There was four of us kids, not six. There was four of us kids. And then my grandma and my grandpa came with us as well. And we were traveling in a really small Jeep. It wasn't really that big, probably a little bit bigger than a 2006 Honda, really small. And we also were pulling a pop-up trailer with us as well. So as we were traveling out to West Virginia, we traveled out there because my dad loved railroads. So we were traveling up into the mountains in West Virginia, and we're traveling down all of these winding roads, and all of that traveling made us go crazy. We're going back and forth on these roads. Later on in our trip, I started to feel really sick. We kept going back and forth on these roads, and I kept feeling nauseous. And I told my brother, "Hey, tell mom that I feel like I'm going to throw up." And he said, "It's fine. Hold it. You'll be okay." And then I kept feeling sick. I felt like I was going to throw up. My grandfather also felt sick. Thought he was going to throw up too. So then my dad finally decided to pull over on the side of the road. And really, it was the perfect time because the nausea hit us. There was a lot of bumps on the side of the roads, and we kept going over those bumps, and it made my brother feel really sick, and then he threw up all over the driver's side and all over my dad. It was really funny. So I do remember another time I enjoyed traveling. I went to Jamaica. And I went by myself because I didn't have a friend to go with me. So I flew into Jamaica from Atlanta, Georgia, and flew in there. It was kind of awkward because I didn't know what to do. Didn't realize that you have to go through security when you're flying, that they're going to go through all of your clothes and all of your suitcases. I didn't know what to do. I felt weird. And I asked the person that was working there, I was like, I can't hear. I don't know what to do. I don't understand. And she's like, "Okay, I'll help you. So come with me." And she guided me to where I was needed to go. I really didn't understand what was going on. So we wrote on a paper back and forth. And they asked me, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm visiting." And they explained some things to me and got my suitcases, and I was good to go. I was really scared because I didn't know what to expect going to another country. I met my friend there at the airport and picked me up, and we went to a house in Jamaica. I started to feel really homesick. I wanted to go back to America. They didn't have any running water. They didn't have electricity. They didn't have a phone. I couldn't call my mom to let her know that I had gotten to Jamaica safely. I couldn't do that. So I didn't really know what to do, and I started feeling a little anxious because the people there were different. The place was different. But that evening, I decided to go to the beach there, and I will never forget that experience. I went snorkeling, and I could see all these different kinds of fish there. They're different colors, purple, yellow, just a variety. Puffer fish. They were so beautiful. All these fish in the water. I'll never forget that time going snorkeling. And then later that day, I went to South Jamaica, and we traveled about 75 miles in 2 hours. 75 miles in 2 hours. It was crazy. But anyway, so we were traveling. And we finally stopped, and we were really hungry, and we saw all of these things lined up. And I asked my friend, "What is this place?" And he said they're selling fish. I was like, "Oh, okay, interesting." And the women there's probably about 7, 8 women there, and they were trying to bargain and sell fish to us. And I said, I don't know how to do this. I told my friend, "You're on your own. You know how to do this. You live here in Jamaica. I have no idea how to do this." So my friend picked out a fish. He bought a fish, and then we left. And then we traveled probably about 2 miles, and we stopped and we ate. We ate this fish, and the fish, I didn't realize it still had its head on it. It wasn't cleaned out at all. So I started feeling nauseous, and I told my friend, "How are you going to eat that?" And he said, "I'm just going to pick it up and eat it with the eyes and everything on it." And my friend, "Yes, it's fine. Just eat it." And so I kind of picked mine up and took a bite, and I felt nauseous at first, but I realized it was really good. I never had fish like that before, but it was really good. And then later on, we traveled back to the place that I was living at for about 6, 7 weeks. It was really, really beautiful there, but I started to get homesick, and I wanted to go back to Jamaica, or back to America. It was kind of hard for me at first when I got to Jamaica with learning the language. It was kind of awkward, but about 3 weeks into my trip, I started to be able to communicate better and learn their signs, and I really enjoyed that. But I really wanted to go back to America. I started feeling depressed. I didn't want to stay in Jamaica anymore. I wanted to go back to America. There's a few things that I enjoyed about traveling. Oh, there's a few things that I enjoyed as I grew up, traveling to other places. I also collected baseball cards. I collected so many of these baseball cards. I remember one time, I think I collected about 500 baseball cards in 1 year. I collected all these baseball cards, and I lined them up, and people probably thought they were stupid, but I thought they were so valuable, these baseball cards. And then later on, I realized I didn't really care about them that much. And so before I went to college as a freshman, I decided, I don't think I want these anymore. They're not, kind of worthless to me now. There's not really that big of a deal. So I asked my cousin, "Hey, you want these baseball cards?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I want those." He's like, "You can have them for free." I said, "You can have them for free." He's like, "Okay." So about my 2nd or 3rd year in college, I saw this picture of my baseball cards, and I realized that they were worth a lot of money just for one card, like over $300. And I was like, "Hey, that's my cousin. Hey, man, can I have those cards back?" And he's like, "No, sorry, you can't have them. Too bad. You gave them to me." And I realized I learned from that mistake. And as I've grown up, I've learned from the mistakes that I've made, and I've become wiser as I've become older. Other things that I enjoy doing are collecting miniature dogs for my room, put them up on a shelf in my room. And then I also enjoy fishing. I'll never forget this one time I was fishing about 5 or 6 in the evening. I didn't have a worm on my hook, but the fish still bit the hook. It bit it. It didn't matter. He still bit it. So I pulled my rod out really fast, and it got stuck on a tree, and the fish was dangling there. So I was like, "Oh, man." So I pulled the fish out of the tree, and then it went back down into the water and went back and forth. One other thing that I also enjoy doing is going swimming. This is just a variety of things that I like to do.